listening to Reviewing History, the comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, and I'm joined here by...
Stephen Medagliaca.
And Ancelotti.
You don't like me to say the end and then point. You always like to jump in front. You like to cut it off.
I like to do a little flow. What I actually don't like is how you give your credentials at the start of every episode.
It's very pointless. No podcaster does that, I think, ever.
I know for a fact one does.
Who?
You?
Not me. There's another one, and I was like, okay, it seems to work for him, so I adapted it, you know.
How many times do they have to listen to the show before they realize who you are?
You always have to...
Only once.
So...
Because he's going to tell you.
I like to follow the Stan Lee rule of things.
What's the Stan Lee rule?
So the Stan Lee rule is always assume every comic book is someone's first comic book.
So always assume someone's podcast is their first podcast?
Exactly.
Does that mean we were supposed to be giving our credentials?
Yeah.
It's nice if you want to, but, I mean, some of us really don't even have credentials, so, you know. not pointing any fingers, I'm just saying, you know.
Maybe I'm a little jealous.
Anyway.
So, the movie today was The French Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was Anthony's pick, right?
Damn right it was.
Why'd you pick it?
I love this movie.
Yeah?
I've seen it many times. I have this is one of my dad's favorite movies, and I've been watching this since I was a kid. I think this is a great movie, and I love what I love in 70s stuff, because it's obviously a 70s movie. I love that fucking dirty, gritty New York City of the 70s, and I think this and Taxi Driver are kind of like the two quintessential embodiments of that. And you know, like when I picked it, I said that we've been doing a lot of battle and war movies, and I wanted to go a little off script with this one. So we have a crime thriller. So yeah, like I said, this is a great movie. I love it. What do you guys think of it?
Rugged. That's one of the first comments I had.
Rugged.
Rugged feeling.
It's dirty. It's a dirty movie.
Shaky camera work. They didn't use tripods probably ever. Clearly it was on purpose. They did that on purpose.
Well, this is what's his name? The director.
William Friedkin.
William Friedkin.
Director of, can anyone name his other big movie?
No.
Huge. One of the biggest horror movies of all time, also in the 70s. The Exorcist. This is the director of The Exorcist.
Really?
William Friedkin.
From what I understand, prior to this, he was primarily known for documentaries.
Yes, he had done a lot of
And
documentaries.
that really comes off in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What do you think of this movie, Brian?
So I have only ever seen this movie once before, and that was with you.
I made you watch it.
You made me watch it, and I did enjoy it. I liked it then. I like it now. I wouldn't say I love this movie. This isn't a movie I really ever think I'll revisit.
I think it doesn't appeal to modern sensibilities at all.
It's not just that, because there's a lot I like in it. It definitely doesn't leave you feeling good at the end.
No.
I respect the hell out of it, and it's gritty as fuck. You know?
It's real. It is a picture of police work in that point in time. You know? I think Friedkin called it an impression of the real case, because obviously this is a real case and we wouldn't even be talking about it.
Yes.
I know that when he was writing this movie and kind of getting into the mindset to do this movie, he went with the real guys that are portrayed in the film.
In fact, they're in the movie.
They are in the movie with them on raids of like heroin dens and whorehouses, and he became a 1970s New York cop to make this movie. And it paid off.
It didn't work out for him when, after the filming was done, he just couldn't stop beating black people. It took William Friedkin months to kick the habit.
He's just dropping N-bombs like he's Popeye Doyle.
Spreading heroin throughout the community.
But did you like it?
I do like this movie. I definitely like it. I will definitely watch this one day with my child. Like, I think it's a good...
It's just an important movie.
I think it's a good movie. I think it's important. I think there's a lot of cool shit in here.
I've heard people say this was like the announcement that the new Hollywood had arrived. You know,
Really?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You're
Like-
definitely you're starting the film brat takeover. You know, the Scorseses and like the
Spielbergs.
Coppolas.
Yeah, right.
Those guys are coming to Palma. Like, and this is an embodiment of that. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Yeah.
grittiness.
I actually did not like this movie that much.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't do it for me.
What was some of your critiques?
I didn't like
should we wait till we get
There
into
weren't
it?
enough black
there
people.
there
getting
wasn't
beat.
enough. Stole my joke. I didn't like the execution. That's all. I understand why they did it.
Certain parts of it I understand are slow.
Not just that. It's when I say more decisions on the filmmaking itself. There's a lot of shakiness that I just for no reason sometimes I didn't like it.
When I was watching this,
Felt low budget, and it wasn't low budget.
It actually kind of was. They did it at kind of like a shoestring budget.
Did they?
Gene Hackman's a no-name at the time. Same, and I think Roy Scheider was too.
The budget is $1.8 million
Yeah, it's
for
nothing.
1971, which is even then not a tremendous
Right.
amount.
No, okay, so that kind of makes sense then.
I was watching this in my living room, and my wife was trying to take a nap in the bedroom. And when the movie was over, I went in to see what she was doing, and she said to me, "That movie you were watching, was there any dialogue in it at all, or was it just sirens and gunshots?" And I was like, "There's about 40% of it is just watching cops walk around."
And establishment shots.
Yes.
I legit, like, I
One
was
of-
going to make a joke that this should be called Stake Out the Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That's kind of what I
it's like
didn't
cops
like.
just looking at shit.
That's kind of one of the things that I didn't like because one of my comments was, "Please, more establishment shots. I need more." And then my comment 2 minutes later was, "Thank you," because there's a legit like three and a half minute sequence where it's just showing like popular spots in Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I'm like, I don't need to see this. I know where they are. Why are you still showing this to me? And I think it's gonna end. And then you have like a quick chase, and then it just does it again. And it's like, why are you doing this? I guess to fill maybe the runtime, but I just didn't like that decision.
I gotta say, I loved the establishment shots of like old Brooklyn.
It's the best shit.
It reminded me of like how I grew up when me
Right.
and my buddies were growing up in the '70s in Brooklyn, seeing the old sites. We'd
Yeah.
go out, you know,
Yeah.
we'd hit up
Your
the
best
Copa.
Your best buddy Walrus.
You remember Brian, you remember when we used to go to the World Trade Center while it was still being built in the background?
You know,
You know what's great? Right at the beginning when he chases the first time he chases a black guy down.
first of many.
The kicks. The kicks
Yeah.
are just hysterical.
The guy runs into an alleyway where there's just a burning thing happening.
yeah.
There's just fire.
Yeah.
And no one cares. Like that's how fucked up this city was. Yeah. Let's start
All right,
the movie.
before we fully dive into the movie, I just want to say it won the Academy Award for Best Picture,
Yes.
Best Director. Hackman won Best Actor. Scheider was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Didn't win.
He didn't win. He never won one.
Did it win Best Score? Because the score felt like they did it overnight in a cocaine frenzy. Like they were like, we need a band. They hired an orchestra and were like, we only have money for like an hour, so just play what you see. And they just did their best.
It won for Best. It was nominated for Best Sound. It also won for editing.
Same thing. The sound wasn't up to snuff for me. There was so much wrong.
I will say the ADR, you could definitely tell sometimes when shit's dubbed.
And the Foley was bad. It was bad, man.
All right.
Man, you guys just can't
I know,
appreciate the
I'm
grit.
rough on it.
I liked it. He hated it.
I'm rough on it.
It ended, and I could see he was so annoyed.
I was just like, ugh.
He's like, why'd he pick this? He immediately said, this is the worst movie we've watched.
Yeah, but
It's
realistically,
the best picture.
I feel like we watch a lot of Best Pictures.
We watched one.
And I didn't like it, really.
You didn't like The French Connection?
No, Platoon.
Platoon.
Oh, and Gladiator.
Yeah,
So we
I
did-
was-
this is our third.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We hit some big movies.
All right, so we begin the film in gritty 70s Paris. Everything's
Marseille.
gritty.
It's Marseille. It's not Paris.
I meant to write France, and I just put Paris.
It's southern France. It's Marseille. Actually, you say it's gritty. I think it's very nice. It's a big contrast from New York. You know, it's like this kind of almost medieval city that they're walking around.
No, there's some grittiness to it though. Like
Yeah,
some of the hallways
It has
are
like
a
the
little
film
dark.
green, and you
yeah.
see like some alleys and stuff.
But
like
it's
that.
it's very much an old world city compared to
Yes,
New
yeah.
York. Like
You can tell it's not home.
It's miles and miles away, and I don't mean that literally, away from New York City.
Mm.
You know,
Honestly, you know what it reminded me of? When we went to France. Mm-hmm. So there was one time where
We did a lot of
our
heroin
group
deals.
Yeah, we were dealing
some H,
some
brown.
some horse. We were selling horse. So we went to France for a metal festival.
Listen.
And me and Anthony decided to stay away from the group in a hostel together.
Yes. Everyone else was in a hotel. Brian and I decided to go to a hostel.
And we don't speak any French.
Not a word.
So we decided that we could walk there.
Yeah.
And we
The
ended
bus,
up...
the bus dropped us off from Charles de Gaulle Airport in like downtown Paris. And we were like, all right, we're going to walk to our hostel. So we have giant backpacks.
And it's hot. It's the summer.
Yeah, it was July.
Right, you should probably backtrack of how big those backpacks were because we were going to be camping out for like 3 days.
Yeah, we had giant bags.
So yeah, you had camping equipment basically.
And we're just walking through Paris, and I'm like, hey, maybe we should like get a
I think
cab.
we walked for 10 hours.
It's an insane amount. We actually left Paris at one point.
We walked out of Paris into the suburbs.
Into like a random town, and we were so lost that we eventually came to a bar, and we were like,
a nice gentleman helped us.
and we were like, we have to like go in and ask for help, and we walk in, and everyone's looking at us, and we were such fish out of water,
Yeah.
and we're like maybe 20.
I was 18.
Okay, then I was 20.
Yeah.
And we ask for help, and the guy is just like, we're like, where do
He's
we
like,
get
oh,
to?
you're very far away.
Yeah, we're like, we need to get to this like location
We
in
had the name of the place.
the Three Ducks Hostel, or that was a
That
second
was a
one?
different one, but regardless.
Yeah.
We eventually found a cab, and he got us there. And then we got lost like 4 times after that.
But you also said to me, like when you finally broke down, because I had been begging that we like try to find help.
Yeah, Brian wanted to get help, and I was like, no, we're going to find it. I don't know why I had like this fucking thing where I was going to find it, and that was going to be it.
Neither of us speak French.
Yes.
But he breaks down at one point after 10 hours of marching. and
I
you
can't
go,
believe you went along with me.
What else was I going to do? Abandon you? Then we both would have been fucked. And you say to me, it has come to my attention that we are lost in one of the biggest cities in the world. And we don't know where we're going. And we broke down. We went into the bar. Then we got lost more. And then
You called me.
We
You called me and said you needed help. I said, sorry, I don't speak French, and I hung up on you.
And we ended up finding a cab, and he took us there.
Right. Yes, thank God for that guy.
But yeah, that it kind of reminded me of like not Paris, but that suburb we walked into.
Yeah. But it is Marseille, and we are seeing a French policeman who is tracking down
Baguette Man.
The baguette.
He buys a
Oh,
baguette
it's baguette.
just to be extra French, and he is tailing what's his name, the main bad guy. His real name is Jean Jehan. I forget his name in the movie, but they keep calling him Frog One, so I'm gonna call him Frog One.
That works. Elaine Charnier.
Chardonnay, yeah.
And he ends up getting his baguette, going into a little hallway,
And
and
gets
get his
assassinated.
face blown off.
I gotta
But-
say, hold on, I'm not impressed with the shot because the dude had a giant mole on the middle of his forehead that was just begging to get shot. It was like, you know, if you're aiming at a gun, it's the target's right there. You just
But the killer takes a piece of that baguette because
Yes.
you don't want a good baguette to go to
He's
waste.
French. He can't
He
resist.
can't resist it.
Yes.
You think that would be like, maybe I shouldn't touch this, but he just does it. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he wants
Because
a
didn't they
bite.
have fingerprints back then?
Of course.
So like, why? Clearly, you're not that good of a killer. What are you doing?
He got away with it, didn't he? We see he's not that good of a killer
He's not
later
that- he's not that good.
when he's using his sniper rifle and hits random
In
woman.
like Brooklyn,
Yeah.
like right next to the BQE with like clear visible. Clearly, you can be seen by anyone in a
In
4
daylight,
mile
yeah.
radius. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
we cut to Brooklyn and Popeye Doyle is dressed up as Santa.
Popeye Doyle playing Detective Eddie Egan is the real guy.
Yes. But in this, he's playing Jimmy Popeye Doyle.
Right, they changed his name. And we
Popeye.
have his partner,
Brody.
Chief Brody slash. What is his name in the movie?
In the movie, his name is Buddy Russo.
Right, Cloudy. And the real guy's name is Grasso.
Yes, and his
Sonny Grasso.
his name is Sonny Grasso, and his nickname actually was Cloudy.
Yes.
Because
And the other
That's
guy's real
cool.
name is Papa. Nickname is Papa.
yeah, both their nicknames are the same. The reason he's Cloudy is because he's a morose motherfucker,
And his name is Sonny.
Sonny, and they thought that'd be funny.
Right.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they called him Popeye because he liked to pop by all the different bars and stuff looking for chicks. He's a real cocksman.
Which is kind of shown there, huh?
Do you remember the scene when Brody went to the bar and the old sea dog
he
said,
needed
"I'll
to-
find your criminal. I'll find him for 5, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10."
Those guys at one time had the all-time most arrests in NYPD history together. They had over 8,000 arrests.
How many of those were guys that they planted shit on and framed?
Oh, I believe it.
Like 7,000?
You know,
Probably
my
a
uncle
lot.
was a cop at not at this time, but slightly after it in the 70s, and he has told me absolutely horror stories, especially the big 1976 blackout, or was it 77?
The big New York blackout.
Yes, the
yeah,
famous
blackout.
one where like the world ended, and there's just anarchy. It's
Yeah.
just like, I think a cop at that time is like being a soldier. You know, like they have PTSD. Those guys saw horrors and probably perpetrated some too.
Oh, yeah, you're just preparing for war. My uncle, who was a cop at that time, too.
that was 77.
77.
Okay.
77.
My uncle was a cop at that time too, and he's told like shit about like just you being ready for war.
Yeah.
And like every night you're going out and you're getting in like a brutal fight of
Brawl.
some kind.
Yeah.
Like you're a trained fighter basically. You're just going out and you're scrapping every night.
Cracking heads.
Yeah. My uncle was actually, when we talk about this movie eventually, he was actually a beat cop on the day of the Dog Day afternoon.
My uncle also met what's his name, the guy from that.
Al Pacino's character. I forget
No,
his
no,
name.
not Al Pacino. Serpico.
Serpico, okay.
I'm doing two different
Movies, yeah.
Also, I think he met Popeye Doyle once, the real guy. Anyway,
Small world.
That's irrelevant.
Small.
So
world.
they chase down a African American criminal, and they
Just because
They literally kick the shit out of him. They don't stop kicking him.
He's
Every
got a
chance
knife.
they get, he kicks him.
He does slash.
He does get him.
Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
And yeah, they kick him.
They just keep kicking him.
That's when they run past the fire. They run into just this awful-looking field with broken glass.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fucking just horrible. It's just a horrible place. This is where my parents grew up.
And then
it's an abandoned lot.
Right, yeah.
and then
Like-
they do the.
All right, wait, serious question.
Yeah.
In modern Brooklyn, right, which is like obviously some of the most valuable real estate in the country now.
Yes.
There's no way there's an empty fucking lot like that anywhere, right? Just an empty dirt lot begging to be built on.
in Brooklyn?
There is.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you go
I
to certain
remember
areas, yeah.
When I was a kid, I grew up. I was like my very young years, like 1 to 4. We lived on 32nd Street in Brooklyn. I believe it was in Sunset Park. Across the street from my house was a burnt down Burger King that just was there, and nobody did anything with it.
They took flame broiled too literally.
Oh God, good joke. Good dad joke.
So they start beating the shit out of this guy.
Yeah. And then they play good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Well,
You picked your feet, didn't you?
yeah, he starts talking about picking your feet in
Fucking picking
Poughkeepsie.
your feet in Poughkeepsie. That line just kept coming up.
You said
That's
you hated it,
it's
right?
a tactic.
I hated it.
But it's
I
his
get
police
it's a
tactic.
tactic. I get it.
He's just trying to disorient him so that Roy Scheider can get real information
Yeah.
out of him. You put your feet on the end of the bed and you picked them, didn't you?
He's just what? The way I took it was like, oh, I guess like a prison is located in Poughkeepsie, and they do like the thing.
It's literal
It's
nonsense.
just bullshit. Oh,
Yes.
all right. Maybe I looked into that incorrectly.
Grasso, I saw like a little interview with him. He was talking. The guy who's Roy Scheider's character, the real guy.
Yeah.
He was saying that when they put that in the movie, he was like, "Oh, come on, they don't want to." He didn't want them to do it because he hated when the real guy would do that. It annoyed him.
That's funny.
It annoyed me too.
So actually, both the guys actually ended up getting like Hollywood careers from this.
Yes.
Like they both became like actors popping up and stuff, and like
Because Egan actually got fired from the police department.
Yes.
He got like right before he retired.
Yeah, it was like a forced retirement, and he sued them for his pension, and he won it.
Yeah.
And like they both got film careers. Like Egan was an actor in a bunch of shit, like mostly playing cop
They
shit.
put so many innocent people in jail. Fuck them.
Yeah. And then
Fuck them.
and then Roy Scheider became like an advisor on like tons of cop shit, and like he produced shit.
Of
Roy Scheider,
course.
Gross, the real guy.
The real guy, yeah,
Grasso.
Grasso.
Of course. Well, anyway, so
Do they get anything relevant out of that first guy?
they learn where the main drug dealer lives, the apartment. That's about it.
No.
Yeah, the first guy?
No.
He says, I don't know where he is. I just know he
'Cause
lives
they
on the
s-
second floor. And he goes, where? North or south? And he goes, what? He's like, the second floor. He's like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. But I don't think that comes into play at all
It
because
doesn't. This is just showing their tactics.
right.
Yeah.
He's dressed up as Santa. He chases him down. Oh, by the way, how cold does it look in this movie?
They show it's cold.
It is. It just looks like the coldest winter ever.
Because,
Everything's blue and awful.
Yeah. But also, winter in New York,
It's
for
brutal.
those who have never been here, because we live in New York, if just to give a little hint.
If they haven't guessed that by now by my voice,
Well, hey, every time. It's the first. It's freezing.
yeah.
In the winter, it's freezing. It goes to 0, sometimes below. And that just seemed like a cold week.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we have information of when this actually happened?
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
the
so
real
the
story?
real events happened in 1961. So it's actually 10 years before the movie.
Well, like what time of year was it actually like winter? Do we know?
That I don't know.
Like we could probably look up the arrests or something and figure that out.
Honestly, it's you're doing a gritty movie. You want to set it in winter
wants to be cold.
regardless, right? Like if it's bright and sunny.
Even did it in The Godfather.
What?
It was wintertime.
Yeah,
in The Godfather.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just adds Rocky, which is another gritty 70s movie.
Right.
You know, you just want it
It
in
was
that.
really warm in France there. It looked nice
France
because
looked
the
nice.
next scene he's fishing.
Right. He's fishing off a castle.
The fishing pole came out of nowhere. Like I didn't notice it at first, and next scene he's just fishing, and I'm like,
In
what?
fact, doesn't his girlfriend buy him a coat and go, it's really
really
cold
cold.
in New York?
It's really cold in New York.
I have a couple things I want to talk about. Do you remember the FCUK clothing line?
For cuck.
Yeah,
Cuck,
yeah.
FCUK.
Popular.
I kept thinking of that throughout the whole movie.
Well, what does it stand for?
Well, French Connection, United Kingdom.
There you go.
When we were in high school, which I don't know, I work in a high school. I haven't seen any kids wearing this.
that
Oh, that's
died.
been gone for
That died
decades.
That barely lasted a year.
No, that was like throughout all of high school for me. But do you remember kids like they must have thought they were so edgy? My shirt
Oh,
says
yeah.
FCUK.
Yeah.
So when you glance at me real quick, you
I
think
believe
it says fuck.
they banned them in my middle school.
Oh, in your middle school.
And like kids had to, if they came in with that shirt, they would make them turn it inside out, and they have to walk around with an inside out shirt all day. Side note: there was a trend this has nothing to do with anything, but I just thought of it. There's a trend of like sweatpants that girls would wear right around that same time.
Yeah.
Where this girl had it said "Angel" on her ass, right? But one day
I know where this is going.
the G went into her ass crack. So it said anal. That's it. That's the end of my story.
Well, right now, that would like if you were in high school, you'd take a picture, you'd put it online, it'd go viral, and then
I'd-
you'd get suspended.
Right, and then my life would be ruined.
Yeah. So I did want to say, Popeye Doyle says, "Never trust an N-word."
Yes, he
Oh,
does.
yeah, he
he
drops the
doesn't say
hard R.
N-word.
Well, no, he says the real thing.
He
but
drops the hard R.
Yes.
you couldn't. Could you make this movie now?
No, not even close.
Look, I mean, I 100% believe that a cop in that area at that time, that's how he talked.
I believe a cop would say it now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there was a cigarette machine,
Yes.
a little cigarette dispenser. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's old.
But yeah, so they arrest the guy, and after a hard day's work, Popeye wants to go out, right?
They go to the bar.
He's got to get
They go to
wet.
the Copa. And
Which bar band is better, these girls or the Cantina Band? Who would you rather see?
you mean the Star Wars canteen?
The Star Wars Cantina Band or the girls singing in this bar?
Now,
Well, I mean, the girls are obviously better, but the Star Wars band has aliens, and I've never seen an aliens.
not in person, yeah. Well,
These girls are great.
Yeah.
And-
Good music.
yeah,
They put
what
a
a
nice little
turtleneck.
show.
God damn.
Yes, I
God
love the
damn.
outfits. Just the 70s
I gotta
awful
say,
fashion.
man, turtlenecks I don't care. They're timeless to me. They
The
always
turtleneck?
look good.
I love turtlenecks.
Thank you.
Really?
Turtlenecks rule.
always look good. We need to bring those back.
My mother used to make me wear them when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
because
I hated
dude,
them.
I guarantee you could rock a neck.
You would look so good in a turtleneck.
Put on
You gotta
that
get
T-neck and just rock it.
Well, I mean, you guys are really opening my eyes.
I'm telling you,
to a
man.
new avenue of fashion.
I'm
for
telling
me.
you, turtlenecks rule.
They do.
70s fashion is
Some
the
of the
worst
worst
of
ever.
any decade, right?
Yes, the style,
Yeah,
like
it's ridiculous.
What
Bell bottoms.
Orange was in, horrible wallpaper, bad couches. Like, look at Archie's house; it's terrible.
Tables that had weird shapes and didn't work.
Remember Goodfellas? Look at the other ones; he couldn't even sit on them.
And the Copa, it's owned by the mob, right?
I'm sure it is. Everything's owned by the
That's
mob.
true. At
It's
this point, yeah.
It's 1961. So they are in the club, and they're looking around, and they see a table full of people where guys are throwing money around like the Russians are in Jersey. That is a direct line from the movie. And this, just for no other reason other than cop hunch, they decide to follow him.
It's just this guy is there were two criminals there.
Yes.
And then there's one guy who they didn't know. And they're
Right.
like, let's make sure that he's on the up and up.
They recognize one guy as a known criminal.
Yeah.
And then the other guy they've never seen before, but he's throwing money around, so they decide to tail him. And that is exactly what happened in real life. They went in the
Really?
club, yes. They saw the guy that he was throwing money around. They didn't like the look of him, so they just followed him.
Wow.
And they stumbled upon this giant conspiracy. And that is what happened.
What a payoff on a hunch.
Right.
So then we cut back to the castle, and we see a Frenchman put his hand in a pile of water with what looks like shit in it, and he scoops up what looks like feces.
It's an oyster.
I thought it was a lump of shit. I could not
oyster.
make out what it was. I was like, why is he putting his hand in a toilet? I think he was gonna like break it open and drums
He's
would
even
be
like
inside or
shucking it.
something.
Like it's like what?
We were watching it together, and I asked Steve. I was like, "Is that shit?"
He turns to me and goes, what is that? I'm like, an oyster. He goes, oh. I'm like, what the fuck did you think it was? He pulled it out of water.
I legit thought he was like turd burgling.
No, he eats an oyster, and he invites the celebrity over, who I guess is a real guy as well. I forget his name in the movie, but the real guy's name was Jacques Angevin, who was some kind of documentary maker in France at the time, and I
He's a
guess
famous guy.
he's a bit of a celebrity. So
Devereaux in the movie. I
Devereaux, yes, and he is being hired to take a boat to the United States with a car, and that's it. And he's going to pretend to be making a movie. That's all we have for now.
at this moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens next, Brain?
So the next thing that happens is they start following this guy Sal Boca,
Yes.
and we find out things about him, including that he robbed a Tiffany's and then got off.
And his brother works on Ward's Island.
Yes.
And his wife
a
is
garbage man.
19.
Right.
And she's very attractive.
She's also wearing a big blonde wig when she actually has dark hair.
Yeah.
And they make $7,000 a year.
Right.
What
right?
what is that equivalent now? Like 20, 25
I'll
maybe?
check.
I don't know.
Because I feel like that
not a lot.
when they mention it, it's like, yeah, this guy should be poor, and he was throwing around hundreds. Like, you're not throwing around hundreds if you're making 7 Gs.
They also switch cars.
It still isn't
Yeah.
that
Well,
much. It's
they're-
only $50,000 a year.
right.
Oh, that's actually way more than I thought. Wow. Yeah, but still, if I'm throwing around, I guess that's like throwing around thousands nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So they follow them, and they see that they go to a hotel with a known like drug kingpin hangs out. I forget the guy's name. I think his name. Well, Weinbach.
Weinbach. In real life, that is not his, Weinstock. That's his name.
Weinstock.
He's a combination of several different.
I'm sure he's like a mafia.
Yeah.
He's a combination
guy.
of several different like mafia dudes. Then they just picked Weinstock for this movie.
The character Sal Boca, the real guy's name was Patsy Fuco, and again,
I'm a patsy.
he had a brother who worked on Ward's Island, and it's very spot on. So they realize that something must be going on, and they ask their higher ups in the police department for the go ahead to start some sort of investigation. And of course, the sergeant or whatever right above them is played by the real guy, Eddie Egan.
And he is playing a character named Captain Walt Simonson. But
What a name. Jesus.
Before we get there, that just screams like police captain. Right? Like
Really?
you get named that, that's just what you are.
That's what you are,
Right?
yeah.
So we do see at one point a garbage man school.
Yeah.
Which, if there was ever a mafia front I've ever seen in my life, it's garbage man school. I can't think of, like, there's not many professions that require less than this. Like, it's garbage man. You pick the shit up, you put it in a truck, you go.
I see you're not very familiar with the civil service. Because every civil service job has an academy that you need to go.
I know they have them.
Right.
Doesn't mean you need them. You pick the shit up, you put it there.
Yeah, but
You gotta learn how to
you gotta learn
drive.
to
You gotta
operate
learn
the
to drive,
trucks and
yeah.
shit.
The truck's got a couple of levers, like
Need that
up and
Class D
down.
license. Mod on these guys.
Yeah.
You're
By the
losing
way,
this
we didn't mention that Anthony's family owns a line of garbage truck schools in New York and New Jersey. They own 150 of them
Wow, we're in waste management.
throughout New York City and New Jersey.
Not for nothing. Don't be telling my business on the air.
the real side comes out quick.
Anywho, so they start following Sal around.
Wearing sick outfits.
Yes.
They are like dressed to the nines with costumes. One has a full mailman outfit,
Yes.
like hat and all.
And they plant wires in his store and in his house, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they see that he gets a call from the Frenchman. And this seals the deal for him. Like there's something happening, there's a conspiracy, and they start celebrating. Like
They got a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But now they got to figure out where this is going, who might be the buyer,
Right.
if there's anything big going down. So they visit a bar.
This is like my favorite scene in the movie.
They visit a bar.
This is the best scene in the
This
movie.
is hysterical.
Yeah. They walk into the bar.
It's all black
and all
guys.
One of the first line they say is like, "Oh, look at you people," and I wrote like, "You people." Like, wow.
But they walk in and it's just like a collection of drugs just scatters to the ground.
Yeah, as soon as they walk in, all of the guys in the bar start throwing drugs on the ground.
And
'Cause
they
they're
know
known.
this
They're
happens
known.
all the
Yeah.
time. They're just
Right.
like,
Yep.
yep.
It's all black guys. They all get thrown against the wall.
Pop Boy's roughing
He's
them up.
roughing up everybody. He's frisking them. And they are...
He arrests two of them.
Right. They are junkies.
Well, those guys didn't hand over their drugs, which is why I think he
Right.
arrested them.
Right. They're junkies who are... They can't find what they want. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, they say it's like dry. They can't find heroin. So now they think they've landed this new shipment coming in. But...
They
got
see
this
a
great
guy with a
moment
haircut.
where the guy comes out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
You haircut, come here. I was like, haircut, and it's this big afro.
He's got a big afro. And he punches him and
Well, no, he brings them into the bar.
into like a phone booth.
No, he
the
brings
phone
it.
booth
He brings him
first.
into the
Okay.
back, yeah, and which is turns out it's an informant.
Right.
Yeah.
He's an undercover or
He's an
informant
undercover cop or an informant.
Yeah.
I think a cop.
He's a cop.
because he's like, where do you want it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
punches
And he
him
goes,
in the
"Oh
mouth."
right,
Right.
goddamn, yeah,
And
just
he,
this side."
he gets the info that the streets are dry and that they think there's some shipment that's about to come in. So now it's like it's confirmed something is happening, and Sal Bucco, what was it? Sal Boca's in
We'll
on
be
it.
back in an hour.
Right. So they leave, and now they have to get the feds involved because the department is bankrupt. And it has no money to make buys and stuff. So now the feds have to come in.
I think they said they had like $700.
He said he had $900,
Yeah.
like for the whole
I was
department.
like, oh, it's pretty accurate, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean the '70s New York, not good.
And here's my Bond reference for the episode. Roy Scheider in the black turtleneck with the gun holster. Pure 70s James Bond. Like
Oh,
Roger
yeah.
Moore's like rocking
yeah.
that shit.
He does the same thing in Marathon Man.
I gotta be honest, I've never seen Marathon.
There's a Marathon Man?
I've seen the Is It Safe scene, and that's it. I've never
Another
watched
great
the whole
New
thing.
York dirty movie.
I'm sure I would love it. So now Devereaux, the first time that he's going to be in New York, he lands like ashore, right?
You have that scene where we see the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
He's like being interviewed by people like, oh, what are you doing in New York? like because I guess he's some kind of celebrity.
And they show the car coming off the boat, right?
Yes.
The scene.
Yes.
And it's always a black caddy. If you had a black caddy around that time, there's a good chance you were a criminal. That's like, is that me? Or it seems like every single media did the same thing,
car.
right?
It's a classy car.
The thing is, but specifically the black one.
I know this guy, he bought his father a Cadillac, and it was a big problem at his retirement community. The neighbors at the retirement home were jealous that the son bought his father a Cadillac, and they were like, you think you're better than me? And that happened to my friend Jerry.
Yeah, I actually know Jerry.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about the same thing, and he told me that the guy forced him to take a pen that you could write upside down with. They use it in for NASA. NASA uses these pens on the space shuttle.
Yeah, it's an astronaut pen.
Yeah.
This guy, Jack Klompus, got upset. By the way, I just want to say for the record, so it's like archived for all time, I just won a Seinfeld trivia contest with my friend. Yeah, it was a big achievement for me.
God damn, I hate Seinfeld. I hate Seinfeld.
But when I saw the car on the boat, I couldn't help but think about the ferry and the Staten Island ferry. Do you remember when we were kids pre 9/11, your parents could bring the boat,
You could drive
their
a car onto
the ferry? Like I remember when you were going into Manhattan, you wouldn't drive through Brooklyn. You would park your car on the ferry. You would get off, and then you would be able to drive throughout Manhattan.
Right.
And it would be a much better commute. And then after 9/11, they got scared of car bombs and stuff, and they never brought it back.
End of that.
Which
The terrorist won.
Is that why I had a horrible commute for like years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh god damn! I was wondering that because I've been to Ocean City, Maryland, and when you drive onto the ferry, and it seemed like why don't we have this? And wow. And
don't you think we have the technology now where we could like get the cars back,
or
do you
detect
think
car
it just
bombs.
saves fuel and that's the real reason it's not back?
Once
now?
you lose something, you never get it back.
Yeah, you're right. We're still dealing with the TSA.
Right. It's done.
There was a good line in this because now I think we saw Gene hanging out in a bar.
Hackman.
Gene Hackman, yeah, and they're talking about Florida on a commercial.
The Mackle Bros Florida commercial, yeah.
I didn't see it. I don't remember.
It's a
this.
commercial in the background where they're like, leave New York with those high tax rates and blah, blah, blah. Come on down to
warm
sunny
weather.
Florida. Yeah.
The more
And I
things
was like,
change, the more
wow.
they stay the same. Huh?
Yeah, right. I was like, wow, Florida kicked ass back then too.
So then the next thing is Popeye sees a girl on a bike and he's like, I'm fucking.
And he's, yeah. Oh, I should say the Fed that they get, the guy who's like an asshole to them. Oh, not that guy. The other guy. There's two Feds. One of them is a dick to Popeye. He doesn't like him. Says he got a cop killed. And the other one is the real Grasso. Is the real guy.
The real reason Popeye and the Fed didn't get along is the Fed kept stealing olive oil, and Popeye would have to go and deal with him.
Oh my god,
And he'd have to eat his spinach.
His name was Bill Brutus, right?
Bluto.
Bluto.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then there was the other guy who kept offering Popeye a deal for hamburgers. And he's like, if you buy me one today, I'll buy you two on Tuesday.
There was more of a barter system back then.
Yeah.
Brian might be the best person at driving a joke off the cliff and hitting the acceleration on the way down.
You remember in Titanic when the guy jumps off of the top of the ship as it's going down?
He hits the
propeller
and spins.
Yeah, that's
him.
Brian delivering a joke.
Spinning really fast.
I know my role.
So he has to go to his apartment, right? And he has to break in with a card.
Yeah, it's cloudy.
He has to break in with a card, right?
Yeah, Roy Scheider has to essentially break into Gene Hackman's apartment where he's been handcuffed by his ankle to the bed.
Now he opens the door and a bicycle falls over.
Yes.
Was that being used as an alarm system?
No, that's the girl's bicycle.
Oh, I thought they used it as like a thing where if somebody tries to break in, they could hear it fall over.
No, it's to show you, the viewer, that he picked up that chick on the bike.
Oh, okay.
Because he's just such a ladies' man.
Oh,
Although, how many like shitty beat cops are picking up like teenage girls and taking them home with them?
So
did that happen?
So I'll tell you.
No, but I'll tell you, the director probably slept with her.
Unless it's
This is
Jim Florentine's wife. Do they do that?
This is Eddie Egan basically telling William Friedkin, I'm a legendary coxman. You
Yeah.
know? Make sure you put that in your
Yeah.
movie. Like if someone was like, hey, Brian, I'm making a movie about you, you'd be like, oh, I was fucking girls every day.
Yeah.
You know? I would just walk down the street and I was beating them off.
Right.
Why wouldn't you like sell yourself as a legend?
You're so right. That's exactly what
And
happened.
he doesn't
100%.
look like a rugged, manly, handsome guy. It's just like,
Egan.
yeah, he just
No,
just
he looks like
a
your typical Irishman.
typical guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a bruiser Irish cop guy.
He has a big fat head.
Yeah.
Like, and it looks like he's been through shit.
He probably drinks too much. I mean, let's be honest. And that's not an Irish thing. That's a cop thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't hate the Irish here. We hate the
We
cops.
hate police.
We don't want the Irish.
Then we see like some sort of auction in a trailer with a bunch of sweaty mob men.
Well, this was a thing that used to. I probably
those weren't-
still
those
happens.
weren't mob men.
It probably still happens.
They're
So-
not all mob men.
Okay.
It was just a car auction of cars that were either
Abandoned,
abandoned,
right, or used in
recalled,
crimes.
used in crimes that nobody really wants, and they're selling for scrap metal. Which I don't know if they still do that today. I don't think so.
I don't know, but why wouldn't they?
Not how they do it in this. They literally were auctioned off in a trailer.
I know a big thing back in the day was just to
$25.
abandon cars on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
That
a lot
doesn't
of-
really happen anymore.
There was so much more car theft back then.
right.
Like if you got a car, expect it to be stolen. I know my father's, sorry to say it, Dad. First 2 cars he stole. This is before I was born, obviously. But like they didn't have money.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to have the radio that you would take out of the car at night, and like because people just used to steal radios throughout the 70s and 80s. So I guess it was just ingrained in him. If you're gonna have a radio in the car, you better be taking it away. And then people used to put signs up in the car windows, no radio, just so that people wouldn't break their windows.
That's like, do you know the thing in San Francisco now?
No, what's the thing in San Francisco?
So in San Francisco, supposedly you are not supposed to ever roll up your windows when you park. You're supposed to just take everything out of your car, leave your windows down, so like when they come to break into your car, they don't smash your
can
window,
see that
and there's
nothing's there.
nothing there, and they'll just move on.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, they
What a
still
dystopian.
they still
fucking
may
thing.
use your car as like a urinal, but at least they
At least
won't
you have your
smash your
stuff.
window. Yeah.
Dirty Mike and the boys, right?
Dirty Mike and the boys. Are you Dirty Mike and the boys? I love it.
So then
This movie reminded me of that so much.
Of the other guys.
Of the other guys,
Will
because
Ferrell
it just
and-
felt so like similar. I think the other guys took a lot from this.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. It's the classic cop movie.
And how much is around that time? So like we did before, they made about $7,000, which is about $50,000. They were paying $25 to $40 for used cars.
Yeah, nothing.
What is that? That's like $300.
I really couldn't tell you like exchange rate stuff, but it's not a lot of
It's not a
money.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's
wow.
like buying a house there. It's like, here's $10,000. I'll take this house.
Yeah, no.
Also, cars are made much shittier back then. They break constantly.
I thought they were heavier.
Yeah,
Well, they're made of pure metal.
Yeah, it's
Right.
all metal.
Like there's all kinds of computer things and safety features in modern cars that just didn't exist back then. So these cars, they don't have the value that a modern car would have. Like you're paying $40,000-$50,000 for a fucking car now, whereas back then nothing even comes close to that.
You're in a metal death trap. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So you can get rid of a car for $40 because it's a piece of shit anyway. It's worthless. They want it for the metal, not even for the car. So yeah, that's what these cars are going for in that auction.
So then they start tailing them on the highway, and they're done in by traffic.
Yeah, they lose them.
Damn T word.
The worst thing in all of New York,
It's
basically,
traffic.
is the traffic.
Always.
Then they start tailing them, and we see the worst undercover cop ever.
So inconspicuous.
The guy sticks out like a sore thumb as he's tailing Charnier.
He looks like a worn down Inspector Gadget. He's wearing the same coat, the same hat, and he just keeps peering over to the bad guy. But he's standing in like a jewelry store, and he'll just like look for a second, then peer, and look for a second, and then peer. And it's like, what are you doing? What?
We're not talking about Gene Hackman right now.
No. This is so Gene Hackman and the other guy, the main characters, lost the tail. So
Right.
they relied.
The other guy has
they
to
relied
follow.
on their other guy,
Right.
who was trying to follow until they caught up, which was successful.
Right.
It worked.
And he gets made. Like
Right away.
They all get made.
The second they see this guy, they make him.
Clearly, he was like, all right, I'm being followed.
So then Charnier goes and has a night's meal.
Right. I love this scene.
Oh, the cops are freezing, eating like garbage.
They're eating. The coffee is
Pretzels
so
and
bad
horrible
that Gene
coffee.
Hackman pours it out on the ground. He's got a shitty slice of pizza. Meanwhile, Charnier, the drug dealer, is inside in the warmth with having
French
like
onion soup and
Yeah, they have to have French onion
pasta.
soup.
those-
They looked delicious.
Those Crocs are still used in like New York diners
Oh yeah.
today.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had many French onions out of those.
As a filmmaker, this is the one thing I probably enjoyed the most out of this entire movie is
the
transition.
contrast.
No, the transition of time. So they're eating a big meal, and then it zooms in to Gene's character, who is eating the pretzel, and then dumps out the coffee. And as he's dumping out the coffee, it zooms back, and they're on dessert.
Yes,
It was
yeah,
a
that
really
great.
nice, quick passage of time. I thought that was definitely warranted for respect.
I think this looks to me like the coldest scene in the movie.
It looks freezing, and you see it when they finally get into a car.
Right. And yeah, obviously they've been in that restaurant for like hours. You know, they've had multiple courses.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
They're
Yes.
torturing him, yeah.
They come out and yeah, is this when they have the whole scene where he follows him down into the subway and he gets on the train and waves at him?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's about to happen.
But yeah, like I said, 40% of this movie, maybe even more, is them following them around on foot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so one of my comments was more chase scenes, please.
Were you getting a little
I was
perturbed
just,
at
yeah,
this point?
I was like, enough. I don't care about this anymore.
So then the next scene is them testing the heroin to see
Right.
how successful
Yes.
it is.
Now, do you think that most mafia families have a nerdy drug man like they do?
Yes.
I don't know if it's a nerdy guy, but they have some sort of expert who could tell them
Right.
something. I think it's more a regular mafia dude.
They gave him glasses.
You know, it's
He's-
like-
he's the science man. He has beakers and fucking shit.
Exactly.
they'll pay
it's like
chemists.
it's like Christopher from The Sopranos. I think that's who they're getting.
Closer to like Breaking Bad. They'll get like a science person, a chemist, whatever it may be, whose
Right.
morals are not really aligned, and they'll grab them.
So
yeah,
that-
I do like this scene. Like 88% pure junk. Best he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Junk of the Month Club.
And as it's diluted, they stand to make millions from like
Yes.
cutting it and stuff.
Now the real shipment, when they busted it, was 32 million in narcotics.
Okay.
So that's a fuck ton of in 1961 dollars.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So much. Wow.
Yeah.
So then we see the subway scene. The subway has not changed
Yep.
at all. Like, I feel like I've definitely been in that exact station.
Yeah.
Like, the tiling, everything is exactly
But
the
I'll,
same.
I'll tell you what has changed and then changed back is the level of grime and filth. Like the subway we're seeing in this movie is a hellhole, and we are in 1971. I think we're at like the beginning of it turning really bad, and I think by the 80s it got even worse and worse and worse, and then it came back in like the late 90s into the 2000s.
For most of our adult lives, it was Candyland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Bloomberg and Giuliani combined administrations really cleaned up the city.
Yeah.
And now
It's right back to shit.
it's right back to where it was.
It might as well be the 70s again.
I go to work in Manhattan and Queens every day, and I can tell you the city is not what it was when I was a teenager. It is a scary place these days.
Like, could you, like, our parents let us go there as, like, teens. Could you imagine just letting your kid just go to Manhattan now alone? Like,
I would have been terrified. I'll tell you what I don't do. I do not feel safe any longer walking around with headphones in.
Okay,
you need
yeah.
to be on your guard at all times.
You have to hear what's coming up behind
Yes, you need to keep your head on a swivel, and I find that looking angry is a good tactic. If you look pissed off, people don't fuck with you.
you. Well, you always look like that.
You think so? I find that I skip through life with my shoes untied most of the time.
No, you do.
Yeah.
But you don't look like that.
I've heard many people say you're light in the loafers. So
But
then,
all that aside, that's completely not relevant.
And then they start getting to this subway thing with packed subways, right?
Yeah.
The chase happens.
and-
And I've seen Japanese films to know where that's going to go.
Not only that, he makes this poor girl, he pushes her off the subway, and then he gets back on. And my note was, now she missed her train. like, what if she had somewhere to be? Like, her life is altered because of Popeye Doyle decided, no, you know what? I'm pushing you off of this train.
Doyle is shit.
No, he's great, man.
He's a garbage detective.
How mad?
He's a great detective. They wouldn't have.
No, he's garbage.
How mad would you be though if like you're on the train, you're trying to get somewhere, like you got an appointment or something, and this cop like just pushes you off as a distraction, and then he gets back on and you're forced to miss your train.
Now, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's even worse for the guy he takes the car from, but we'll get to that. Charnay is very much aware he's being followed by this point.
Oh yeah.
And he keeps going on and off the train, and you know, there's a little bit of a cat and mouse thing, and he wins. So he gets on the train, it leaves, and Popeye's left on the platform, and he waves. He gives him the fuck you wave, which is great.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's such a fuck you. It's so dismissive too.
Like bye-bye.
Oh, I do have a note. I love the scene when they're both at like the little like corner stand, and Popeye's
The Orange
like,
Julius thing.
and he's drinking like the juice, and in the background, just slightly out of focus, you see Charnier, and like the way it's framed, where he's there, and like it's almost like you're trying not to look at him,
Right.
Yeah.
But he's there. Oh, it's so good from Friedkin.
This is a great scene.
This is another one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
The whole train
Right.
sequence. It's such clever, like almost physical comedy. You know?
So now Charnier has it in for Doyle. He's made him, he knows him, and he knows he's on his ass. They go to D.C. for their next meeting.
And we see they're still being watched in D.C., but they don't know it.
They don't know it. Right. And the mafia guys want to postpone this drop-off because they
know what's up.
They think there's too much heat on them.
Yeah.
and
This isn't
they
their
are
first
correct.
rodeo.
They have guys on the force, unlike the French.
Right.
You know, they got inside men.
Yeah.
And then they fly back first class.
Yes.
And I got to say, the first class there is so much more fucked up than now first class. At least now they have the decency to close it from the peasants. So they don't let like the people in coach know what they're missing. In there, they have like a see-through thing where you see that they're lounging, they got space. It looks nice.
It's a nice advertisement for them.
Yeah.
It's just a sign that says "You're poor." Haha.
But he tells the guy, the assassin guy, to take care of Doyle.
Well, first they get put off special assignment.
Yeah, because by this point they think the case has gone nowhere. They've lost. They're not
And it's
gonna
just
get it.
they walk onto an average scene on the BQE, just some dead people, you know.
Right. Yeah. What a point! Like, why is that in the movie?
Because it's to show the everyday life in the city is fucking brutal. Where they don't even pay attention. There's two dead teenagers.
There's
in
a car accident.
on
It's
the
a
BQE.
horrendous
BQE.
car accident.
We've driven over it constantly.
Yes, with dead, bloodied, mangled teenagers.
And they're just
And
don't
no
not
one
even
gives
affected.
a fuck.
They're not
Yeah.
affected by it because they've seen this so many times. That's why they are where they are, which I think was pretty
They're
good.
talking about other things.
It was
Yeah.
well done by them.
I think it's also they are singularly focused on one
Yep.
thing. They don't
Right.
care about dead bodies.
Yeah.
They only want to get these fucking drug
but
dealers.
That was very well done.
The
Very
movie
well
is
done in
so insistent on showing the graphic brutality of the mangled bodies. Is that just a 70s thing, or is that deliberately to convey something?
I think they're showing. I think a lot of the movie is juxtaposition, right? So we just saw the drug dealers in first class.
Yes.
Then we're seeing them get chewed out, and then the next scene is the mangled dead bodies.
Right.
And it's just showing that like there's a lot of shit going on, and the drug dealers are living well.
Who's the 60s guy who's known for just the absurd violence? Peckinpah?
Oh, Sam Peckinpah, yeah.
Well, what's his deal?
Well,
Do you think that's a little bit of that? Of this and that?
No, I think this is more its own thing, really. I think Sam Peckinpah is more, and I haven't seen many Peckinpah movies, to be fair. I think this is more, like Peckinpah to me is more Tarantino, like gleeful violence, you know, like the joyous violence, and this is more like realistic, like violence
Did you ever
sucks.
see the Monty Python sketch
No.
where they do the Sam Peckinpah movie and there's just gallons of blood spraying everywhere and it's just ridiculous?
I never saw it, but it seems awesome.
No, I think that was one of the good things that they did in this film too, is that it shows your average day is like horrific, and it's like, yeah, this is what cops deal with. It's real, you know, and that I like that they add that in. It felt unnecessary.
It seems so unnecessary to show that really, much gore.
Yeah, it sends it home to be like, oh, this is your average day in New York City. Like,
so then the next thing that happens after this is a sniper starts taking shots at Popeye.
Worst sniper possibly in the history of snipers.
His first shot, he kills a woman with a baby carriage.
Yeah, takes a shot. Takes a shot.
Wait. Well, here's what I want to propose to you guys. How do we know that he was actually aiming at Popeye? Maybe this woman crossed him. Maybe he's a time traveler trying to get the baby. Maybe that's like a future Hitler, and he's trying to just, take care of business. Maybe Popeye wasn't the target. You guys are judging this guy's marksmanship when you don't know. You don't know his mindset.
I can only deal with so much reaching. I can't do those kind of mental gymnastics. We're not watching Looper.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Breen. But
he fires multiple times trying to kill this.
He kills the woman.
He was trying to get that baby.
He missed that too.
He missed the baby. Yeah.
So this guy just murders a woman in cold blood. Popeye throws himself down. Throws himself down on the ground, and he's warning other people to get away.
Get away, sniper.
Right.
He's behind a thin tree.
Yes.
It's not even covering his whole body, and the sniper still missed him like 4 times.
He manages to run up onto that roof.
So fast.
Yes. And, by the way, their cardio is insane in this movie.
Dude,
they're running all day. That's all they're doing.
It's not just the cardio. I think there was some parkour involved, early parkour, because you don't get down from the roof of a building and catch the guy who, if I'm looking down, he was running away on the street.
He somehow gets down off the top of the building. Because obviously the guy, when he gets up to the top of the building, guy's gone. Just the rifle's there.
Yeah, we have to explain.
The guy is on the ground. He looks down and sees the guy running on the ground. He gets down off that building and still manages to chase him down and see him get up onto the train.
He must be like a world-class runner.
Well, the options are he either took an elevator.
I don't think he did that.
No, he shows him
I think
running.
He took the fire escape.
Or a fire escape. I was going to say, it's one of those two.
Which is still about 13, 14 floors up.
Sure.
It's still going to take you a lot of time to get down. You ain't catching that guy.
Yeah, but the other guy's going up. So
I guess
you're going to cross.
There's one thing we can learn is the French can't run. That's all. That's all.
They were so good at it in World War II.
Layup, score.
So he gets on the train. It's above ground subway, up on the platform. And Popeye commandeers a vehicle.
This poor man.
This poor man gets left in the fucking street by himself without his car. And we get the famous chase scene.
Some have said this is the greatest chase scene in cinema history. How do you feel it stacks up?
So I have another 70s movie starring Roy Scheider that I actually do think is the greatest chase scene in history, called The 7-Ups. Have you ever seen that?
I have never seen The 7-Ups.
The 7-Ups has, in my opinion, the best chase scene. It is insane and over the top, and it's great. This one is great because it's kind of real. The camera angle. They must put a camera on the front of the car, like what we're seeing as he zips around the street, and there's tons of traffic, and he's zipping around, and you got those the train platforms are on the street, so those are
that's real, by the way.
That's real.
For people who don't know, that's real.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just gonna quickly say this: my childhood neighbor, she was on the train in this scene.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's cool.
All right, the French guy on the train, kills a cop who's on the train, shoots him because he's investigating. He comes up on him, and then he runs up to the front. And he holds hostage the engineer and makes him not stop at any of the platforms.
Now, this would not work today if I'm correct, because aren't New York City trains mostly automated, and it's only the doors that open and close?
No, there's an engineer.
No, there's an engineer.
I thought they were...
It wouldn't have happened because I'm assuming a sniper would have a getaway car. Why is this guy running on foot?
It's New York City. You got the best public transit in the world. You don't need a car.
Okay.
It almost worked. He almost got away.
Yeah.
So I do have a little bit of trivia. All those times that Popeye Doyle's car is crashed into, it was not supposed to happen. So the original plan was that the stuntmen were supposed to narrowly miss his car, but anytime their timing was off and the car got smashed, they just left it in the movie.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
That's pretty cool.
It's great visuals.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This is such a cool scene.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The trains also look the same as the 70s they do now, at least where we're from. So, yeah, New York City sucks.
Well, we live on Staten Island, and we have the old train
the
sets
70s,
from the
yeah.
70s. Yeah. The new ones are all in Manhattan.
They don't like us.
Anyway, so now he forces him to not stop at the station. So Popeye thinks he's going to get on in the next station. He's got to get back in the car and keep going. He chases it and he chases it. And eventually the guy blows through signals, catches up with the train in front of him, and crashes. So the train crashes. Popeye's crashed several times driving there. They're both fucked up and wobbling their way through the train platform. And he catches him. And he spins around. The guy spins around to try and run away, and Popeye blows him away in the back.
Shoots him right in the back,
Yes,
which was
in the back.
controversial at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, people were asking about it, and William Friedkin went to the real Eddie Egan, and he's like, "What would you do?" He's like, "I'd shoot him in the back." And he's like, "That's why we did it." He basically said, like, that's what the real guy would do. So
I wrote a wonderful note.
It's such a murder. It's just a straight up
Yeah.
murder. But the guy, it's not like the guy didn't deserve it, but any cop, anyone saw that.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
Egan goes to jail several times in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote, you caused countless lives and $470,000 worth of damages and killed the guy who needed. Good job, detective.
Did you catch the ad for the great new invention of 1971 on the subway?
I saw it. What is it?
It is a coffee machine.
Yeah.
Me and Steve, I was like the
He
great
picked up
new
on it.
invention of. I love the old movies, looking at the ads and shit.
Yeah.
But now, do you consider that to be a blunder of a bit? Because the movie, they never explicitly say it, but it should be 1961. If they're really portraying
Yeah, I
real
think
events.
they just are moving up the timeline. So I don't. They
because
say
all the style is 70s.
yeah, they say it's 1971. And even the grit in 1960s.
is way different than that of the 70s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New York 1960s New York is way more like Mad Men, the TV show, where it's like businessmen in suits.
It's the beginning of the crime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not there yet. So it's very different. What else? Oh, so then after the
Now the case is back open, obviously.
case is open after sniping, we see a really nice powder blue car. Or am I skipping ahead? Or they're tailing someone, right?
It's more chasing.
There's more chasing.
Are they back on Boca?
Yeah. Because I wrote more, period, chasing, period.
Well, they're staking out. What's it called?
This is when he gets the Cadillac.
They're staking out
Yeah.
Boca, yeah, and they're watching the car to see what's up.
Right.
And there's people playing hockey with a can. But I'm pretty sure the powder blue car that Popeye Doyle is in and driving was my grandfather's car when I was a really young kid. Because he had an old beater. And and it was metal and shit, and I'm fairly certain the interior was that exact car. And it brought me back to being a real little kid.
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
So many great things like that in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's it's a real time capsule.
So they love a good stakeout in this, obviously.
Right. So now they got this Cadillac. Boca's driving it, and he parks it on the street. And I guess they know the cops are watching it, so they do not come to do what they need to do.
No, I think that the plan was to leave it there and then have the Frenchman come and get it because the cops weren't going to do anything. What happened was when the people came to steal the car, they were able to act and then search the car because now it's part of a crime.
I think I know what was going to happen. It was going to be an abandoned car. It would end up in that lot where they auction off the cars, and that's where they buy it.
Okay, that makes sense.
They have his guy, because they had a guy in the auction who was buying the cars for them. I think they wanted it to end up in one of those lots so that the car could be bought.
That makes sense.
The car, of course, has drugs. They suspect that it has drugs in it. So the car gets left on the street, and they're washing it all night, and then right around 4 a.m, a car full of Puerto Ricans comes and attempt to rob the radio and hubcaps off the car.
Which
Yeah,
is,
and they immediately drop another
yeah.
ethnic slur.
Yes.
in pure New York fashion.
Yes.
It's pretty accurate.
Yes, this movie is full of There's a couple of wops and dagos thrown around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's in there. So,
They tear apart the car.
well, they don't get a chance to because the cops swarm them.
No. The cops tear
take
apart
the
the car.
The cops take the car, bring it into their impound, and now they rip it apart looking for stuff. And
Everything.
And they can't find anything.
And they're going nuts.
Yes.
But the weight's off. That's how they find out that it's something in there.
Right.
Well, while the weight's off,
The French guy shows up.
he shows up and he's like, "Where's the car?
Right.
I need
the
my
celebrity
car."
guy.
Yeah. And he's fighting with the cops about it. Then they discover the weight's off, and they're like, "Well, I took apart everything, but like this one thing." And they're like, "Why didn't you take that off?"
Right.
Now this guy's an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Because if you know there's something left,
Then you got to look.
why wouldn't you take
Right.
it off?
But it takes Roy Scheider looking in the book and saying it's 120 pounds overweight.
They just want that eureka moment on film, right? Because
It's a great moment.
it is, but they want it on the film because, like, I would think if you're stripping every metal thing, why would you leave that
Yeah,
one piece, right?
right.
It doesn't make sense.
And sure enough, in the foot rack, what is it?
Rocker panels.
The rocker panels. What is a rocker panel?
You're looking at me like I know. I have no idea what that
I'm
is.
assuming it's just like a little track that, like,
I think it's just like a stepping thing because these cars are
Yeah.
like boats back then. They're gigantic. I don't know how anybody found a parking space because it's hard enough now. But when the cars are the size of trucks,
There wasn't that many cars on the road. That's why so many of them got stolen. As opposed to now, where there's cars everywhere, there probably wasn't.
I think
that
there
many
were
cars.
still cars everywhere.
Yeah, but it
less
just
of
wasn't
them.
as dense. I would assume.
there's less people.
Certainly, yeah. So yeah, it's full of heroin. The heroin has been hidden in the floorboards.
But
Yeah.
then they get the car back together in immaculate,
They put it back together.
in amazing time.
really
which
quick.
I don't understand how that
Meanwhile,
happened.
we see like a
rip
montage,
stuff, yeah.
of them ripping the carpets up and cutting wires and pulling the engine out. But I guess they know what they were doing.
just
Everything's
that
being
good.
cataloged too. That's pointed out.
Yeah, but how can they? Because the guy's at the stand, like he's like talking in the lot with the cop.
I think we're supposed to assume a couple of hours.
There was a lot of time passed because
Okay.
he said he went to one police station and then they sent him to another place. Then they sent him to another place. So they were sending him all over the city
They
to
give him shit for
buy some
smoking.
time. Yeah,
But because of the cutting, the way they're cutting it, it makes it
Yeah.
seem like real
Yeah.
time.
which is
You
one of
know?
those things that I that's another thing I don't like.
That was a
that
little off.
execution. Yeah.
So they get the car back together, and then
I'm surprised the cops didn't just take the heroin and give it to the black community.
No, that's crack.
oh yeah, so my mistake.
And it was the CIA. So then they let them go with the heroin.
Yes.
And they let them do what they wanted to do.
And now it's done. They got them. All it is let the deal go down, and then we swarm them. So that's exactly what happens. We have this final scene on Ward's Island where they follow the car. What?
the scene on the island is just. I'll go. Continue.
So the deal goes down. Everybody's happy. And as they go over the bridge to get back, I was on that bridge the other day, by the way.
Were you?
Yes. And I was like, oh, yeah. Right after I watched the movie, I was like, there it is. As they go back, the cops are waiting for them.
And Popeye Doyle looks at Charnier.
And he gives him
the fuck you wave right back. And it's so good. It's such a good moment.
Right. And then they have this awesome shootout. How do you not like this movie? It's so cool. I was like, as we're talking about it, I'm like, this was great.
It's just not. It's not my cup of tea. All I gotta say is, there's criminals everywhere. There's a shootout happening.
By the way, none of this happened in real life.
No.
It was just like a routine arrest. there was no assassins.
None of that, right? Yeah.
There was no car chase.
Egan Dan just kill a Fed.
It was like, hey, I think they're about to deal drugs. All right, arrest them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gene's character just goes, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going in alone.
He's going in. He wants Frog
by
1.
himself, no backup. Because it's not like there's criminals with guns everywhere, or that your teammates need help, your coworkers. No, he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go and
He
risk
certainly doesn't care
risk
about
this
his
whole
teammates.
thing. What a shitty detective.
Well, he had his spinach. He was going in. He knows he's not getting hurt.
That's true. Fucking Popeye.
Yeah. But Roy Scheider, how did Roy, because he goes into a room and then Roy Scheider comes out of
Comes
a
up behind him.
I thought he came from the side.
No, it's from the side.
Yeah, they just got in through a different entrance.
All right.
Obviously, there's more than one entrance because we know what happens.
Yeah, true.
But why don't you just tell him hey, wait up, let's go in together? Just because wouldn't that be smart?
Popeye Doyle don't got time for that shit.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, he's just on a mission to fuck up as much as he humanly can.
But he shoots a Fed, And
Well,
then they're like,
the Fed comes out of a room, and he's in the dark, and he's got a gun, and he doesn't announce himself, and Popeye blows him away. Mulberg.
That scene actually shows why Popeye's a shitty detective too, on purpose.
How, like, I don't know how he didn't go to jail for this. Because he's just killed a federal.
Yeah.
Grasso saw him do it. Obviously, Grasso's not going to rat him out. So, yeah, I guess they just covered it up. Well, yeah, the French guy got
Grasso.
him.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. In that scene, Grasso is actually taking cover and checking, taking cover and checking, taking cover and checking, while Popeye
He doesn't have a bloodlust.
is gun forward,
Right.
marching in
He's
the open.
already murdered a man by shooting him in the back. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. At this point, he's like, I need to kill more people, while the other guy's actually trying to do his job.
How did Eddie Egan allow this? He's watching the whole movie. He's in the fucking movie.
Eddie Egan loves this.
He don't care.
Yeah, he's like, I look like a badass.
He
All
looks like a
this
horrible
does is
detective.
build his legend.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all this does. Right? Like, yeah, sure, make me a bloodlusty killer. I don't care. I'm banging chicks and kicking ass. This is awesome.
And you know what? I bet it worked out for him in the end.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got more acting roles and stuff, you know? And so you want to say what happens at the end?
Everyone gets arrested. We get to see their sentences and such, except for the main guy
Charnier.
who gets away. He just vanishes.
Yep.
Nobody could find. They assumed he was living in France or something. I would give a guarantee he was probably killed on his arrival.
Maybe.
He lost so much money in heroin. I guarantee you, a lot of people there want him dead.
So I have some information.
Okay. And wait, one other thing before you give the information. In real life, after the case, just like in the movie, Popeye Doyle and Sonny were split up.
Yeah.
They were split up and
Right.
like reassigned.
But I've seen interviews with the guy Grasso, and he loves
He
Eddie
loves it. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't like they had a problem with each
No,
other.
right, yeah.
Like it was
was
like
just
He was
like-
like the greatest cop of all time.
it was like the officers, like it was the
Just regular transitions.
It was upper people basically splitting them up because they're like, this is utter chaos when these two are together.
They arrested 9,000 people. We can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Right. So I have some sentences here.
Okay.
We got the Fuca brothers. That's Sal Boca and his brother, the garbage man.
Fuka you, right?
Yes, they were Japanese twins.
And Fuka me.
God damn.
Straight. Isn't that Austin Powers 3?
3, yes, the good one.
The good one.
They were both sentenced to 7 to 15 years, and they got out after, like, they didn't serve full sentences. And Gelvin, that's the documentary guy, he got 3 years. Another guy got 22. That was Francois Paul Scaglia. I don't know who he was, but irrelevant. The guy Jihan, who is Chardonnay, they say he fled to Montreal and then back to Paris, reportedly with $500,000 from the Fucas. So he made off with some money.
So he did well for himself.
Yes. And he had been spotted around Europe for years after this, but he was already an older man, and we can assume he died not long after all.
So
this
some
went
new information.
down.
New info.
Jihan was a member of the French resistance during Nazi occupation, and due to that, French law enforcement looked the other way, apparently.
Wow.
Wow.
Friedkin was told that this dude basically died of old age at his home in Corsica.
So they just were like, he's a hero.
Fuck it, let him sell
Let
H.
him
And you know
smuggle
what?
heroin.
He's selling H not in France. It's not bothering
They
them.
don't care, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have non-extradition laws and stuff.
They do, yeah. Ask Roman Polanski.
Right. Yeah. So that's the movie. I'm very surprised at you, Steven.
So
I thought this was going to be a big hit.
So
Listen,
I do have a question. Where are they getting? Because obviously the heroin isn't grown in France. So are they getting it from like Vietnam and those French territories at the time?
That's a great question. I couldn't tell you. You know, it's not in the movie. That's for sure. There's got to be some kind of shipping empire. You know.
Apparently, from what I'm seeing, they got most of their heroin from Indochina and Turkey, and they would bring it into Marseille.
That's what Midnight Express is about, right?
Via the Mediterranean Sea. I never saw it. But basically, it was that's how they were getting the heroin and then getting it to America. Also, interesting note, Popeye's chicken is named after Popeye Doyle. Did you know this?
No.
It is not named after the cartoon character, which I thought it was. Did you?
I just assumed they had like an owner or something named Popeye.
No, it is named after Popeye Doyle. The creator was a fan of the movie and the character of Popeye Doyle. And he said, you know what is a great name for my restaurant? A racist, bloodlusty cop. That's what I want.
Have you seen the sequel?
No, you told me it was bad, and it's all fake.
It's not bad, but it is...
It's all bullshit.
It's all fiction, yeah. None of it is based on any kind of reality, but it is about Popeye Doyle going to France, and he gets captured by the drug dealers and injected with heroin and becomes a junkie.
Really?
Yeah, and he has to like fight that while he fights the French mafia.
It sounds weird. I kind of want to watch it.
I saw it one time. I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again.
Okay.
Sounds so obscure. Like, why would you do that?
What? Why would you make a sequel?
Make a second one.
Because it was a giant hit.
Yeah, it was
and
a big
people wanted to
success.
know, like, how they let him get away? You know, they had to bring Shawnee to justice.
Yeah, it's a very late 60s, early 70s ending. It's a downer.
Right.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you don't leave feeling good. There's no big, like, celebratory moment.
This is post Bonnie and Clyde, right? Because that's kind of like the watershed moment for those types of movies.
I consider Easy Rider, personally. Like, that's when that shit's really, like, kicking off where
Right.
everything is dark and bleak.
Do you
know?
like this era in general?
I don't dislike it. I like every era of film, you know?
Everything has its point.
Everything is, like, when you take it in context, you can enjoy it.
And Rocky is the movie that kind of put all this to bed, right?
Rocky, like, opens the door, and then Star Wars just blows it up.
Ah, I
where
see.
it's like, you leave feeling good after Rocky,
Even though he loses.
but it's a moral victory, you know? And then Star Wars is just, you know, big celebratory special effects extravaganza.
Right.
You leave feeling great, and then they're like, hey, let's, like, have people leave happy. And then, you know, the next, 30, 40 years of American cinema is feel
Just
good.
trying to recapture that.
Yeah.
Do you like Steven? Any of the old school fucking dirty New York movies? Because there's a lot of them.
I mean, yeah, of course. Like, I like The Warriors.
Oh, I love the Warriors.
Like, that's like,
Right.
I like that
And
better
that
than
one-
this.
that one's a little more
You know what I
cartoony,
mean?
obviously.
Yeah.
Do you like Taxi Driver?
I love Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
I love Taxi Driver. I do like those gritty movies. There's just something about this movie that was not very captivating, and I just think it was a lot of the execution. And it might just be because I'm spoiled, but I like those two that I just mentioned, The Warriors and Taxi Driver that you said. They have a quality to them. Granted, they probably had bigger budgets, but there was a quality
know
to
if
them
they
that
did.
didn't give me a lot of distraction, where I was like, oh, come on, really? This had a lot of that. And for something that won like Best Picture, I expected it to be a little bit more put together.
You haven't said anything about it dragging, and I definitely would agree with you that it does do that. If you
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of established shots. There's a lot of chase scenes. The stakeouts alone, you only need less than 10 to 20 seconds of them waiting in a stakeout to understand they're on a stakeout for a long time. I don't need 3 to 5 minutes of them waiting in a car feeling nothing. I get why you would do it as a director.
I
to be
think
like,
that's
we want to
Friedkin's-
put you in the car with them.
right. That's
get
Friedkin's
it.
documentary sensibility.
Yes, I get it. But in my films, like, I like watching documentaries and I like watching films. This film had so much of that, where it was like, okay, I really don't need this. I really don't need this. And then to pair it with just the weird, not really good soundtrack, the bad sound effects. There's a part that really bothered me in the beginning, in the beginning, when he's the Santa. And he's outside, and he's
not even giving any presents. What's up with
not
this
giving
Santa?
any presents, so, but then they cut to show you what he's looking at, and he's looking at people in a bar, and they play the audio that's in the bar, even though he's looking from outside.
And he obviously
And then when
could never hear that.
when it cuts back to him,
it's almost like he knows.
like what music's being played.
Right.
But when it cuts back to him, the music stops, and the music doesn't play again until somebody walks into the bar, which means, like, either the doors are wide open and it's playing outside, and but like the audio didn't match, and it was just like, wow, that is really for a Best Picture, especially something that was up for Best Sound Editing, like, that was a amateur mistake, like amateur even for that time, like, that didn't happen.
I think this movie, more than probably any other movie I've ever seen, puts a emphasis on the importance of the cop hunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that's something that happens nearly as much as it used to in police work, especially now with forensics and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's just a snapshot of a time that's long gone, you know?
Oh, yeah. I definitely appreciate the story. But I also appreciate the fact that they fumbled over the finish line. Because there was at no point were they completely in control of the situation. They kind of just got lucky most of the time.
They're flying by the seat of their pants and got lucky. Yeah, there's so much luck.
Which is great. I love that. It's just when there's so much that could have been done better to really make this like incredible level for me, and it just wasn't there. And I feel like if you're gonna go that route, that's what I want to see. But that might just be my modern sensibility and me being spoiled with like A tier.
You don't give a shit that it's not a happy ending, right?
No, I actually like sad endings.
Right.
I think they're more realistic. This was a very realistic ending, but I also felt like Doyle's Popeye, his bloodlust wasn't believable. It really wasn't.
Well, they did shoot at him.
They did try to kill him.
So that'll piss you off.
But the French guy didn't.
But he wants him.
He's with him.
He wants him, but
he wants
that's
that
his
cop.
white
I get
whale.
it. I get it. I get it's the white whale. It wasn't believable for a seasoned cop. This is an amateur cop. You have thousands of arrests.
It's a different era, though. You know, it's not uncommon for a cop then to be like this.
Of course. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I think these are cops that are performing, like obviously cops getting brawls and stuff now, but these guys are every single day are forced to deal with massive violence. And whether they're dealing it out or it's being dealt out to them, you know?
Yeah.
I think that mindset is going to color anybody's reaction to situations, you know?
Oh, agreed. Like, it's not surprising, like, the end. It's just, for me, if there's somebody that has 7,000 arrests, at some point, they're probably dealing with shit like this, maybe not getting shot at by a sniper rifle, but they're getting shot at. Right in the beginning, they almost got stabbed.
Yes.
And they didn't kill that guy.
Right.
So, like, what would have been at least better for their character, if they killed that guy and then were a little dirty and got away with it, then I would have been like, okay.
But then how do we follow them as heroes, you know?
Because
we can't.
Right.
And it's also not what happened.
But they weren't really heroes throughout the whole thing, right? They fumbled.
They broke the rules in a way that you as an audience member could reconcile with.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's what I mean by
Would you agree with that, Brain?
So they're like, you want your protagonist. You want your protagonist to fail the entire movie. When you're writing a good movie, you don't want your protagonist to succeed at anything until the very end, basically.
Like, that's one way to tell a story.
But like, it's generally the way to build like an arc for, you know, a hero that people root for. Like, look at Luke. He fucking fails the entire movie until he literally does one thing at the end. You know, like, it's just how you build a character that people relate to easily. So I think that this does that. Like, they really, even at the end, they don't completely succeed, but you respect the effort that they go through to do it, you know? And they're unethical, but you're rooting for them because they're stopping, you know,
something worse,
something bad,
right?
You know, they're kind of anti-heroes almost,
right?
And one aspect that none of us really brought up until now is how good the relationship is between the two characters on the film, and that's part of the reason it works. You totally buy their friendship.
Yes. Whereas Popeye is the maniac, you know, maybe that's the wrong word, but he's the loose cannon. He's the loose cannon, where Grasso keeps him on a leash a little bit.
Yes.
I should say Roy Scheider and
I know who you
Cloudy. Yeah, he's like, he vouches for him almost in every situation. And that you could tell they love and respect each other.
Yes, and the movie is funnier than like people think. Like, there's a lot of humor in here actually, which is like when people say like dark and gritty, it's like life, even like when it's as dark and gritty, it still has like moments of humor.
Right. Well,
like this.
Whenever guys are hanging out or around, they're gonna make jokes.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. Oh, and I should bring this up. Brian has a doodle for the French Connection.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been listening to the show a while know Brian makes a doodle for his notes on every episode. And today we have the car chase scene. He's made railroad track stick figures with the worst drawn motor vehicle I've ever seen underneath it.
And we'll post those on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we didn't say it last episode. We missed it.
Yes.
So would you like to say what it was for last
Brian
samurai?
has drawn the Japanese imperial flag and a couple of little samurai guys that are dead.
Some of
and
them are
one of
dead,
them is
yeah.
alive. One of them is alive with a sword.
So anybody have any other final thoughts? What would you rate this movie, gentlemen? Out of 10,
for
Steven.
me, it's a 5. This is a solid 5.
I gotta go 8. I love this movie.
I'm going to go 7.5.
Okay.
I really liked it.
Yeah. That's a good goal. That's a
Yeah.
good. I respect that.
Good movie. I like it. I would
So
definitely
you
watch
gave it a
again.
5. So it's not necessarily well, I guess it is what's passing? 6?
6.5, right?
Yeah, 6.5 is like a passable good score.
But it's not the worst thing you've ever
No,
seen.
I enjoyed the story. Like I said, it's just certain execution and certain details that they did in the film I just didn't like. That's all.
Okay.
All right. So I think that does it for this episode.
Yeah.
I want to give a big thank you again to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, and the guys for letting us record down in TSD Town Studios down in Hazlitt, New Jersey. Come on down, visit Get 'em, who I have to thank as well for, he sets our mics up for us every episode. He's the fucking best.
He's the man.
Yep. Come on down, visit the general store, say hi to Get 'em, buy some merch. Yeah, it's a great spot. Highly recommend it. Get a tour, see what's going down.
Follow us on social media.
Follow us on. Thank you. Send an email to the podcast, reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. You could also follow Reviewing History on
Instagram, Twitter,
Instagram,
Facebook.
Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. You can follow me personally on Twitter @Brian Rupert. You can also check out our letterboxed. We all have ranked the various movies we've watched. I write a review for every single movie I watch, so you could get my thoughts on any movie I've seen within the past couple of years. It's just something fun I do. Check it out there. Brian Rupert on there. We'll post a link in the show notes, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.